All right. All right. So I have some questions that I have to answer on camera. So let's jump right into it. So the first question is, what's your favorite movie in class? So, and I thought of all these questions ahead of time. So, and I would say my favorite movie would be In This Corner of the World, just because it tells the perspective of the movie from another angle. Because throughout history, war is always told by the winner, and it feels nice to actually see the other side of this war, and to see a perspective that you never usually see. Second, all right. What you learned about Japan that was most interesting? I would say the thing that I saw most interesting was that you guys actually still have arranged marriages, which I thought wasn't really a thing anymore, but apparently it's still popular with your culture. So, next question is what you want to know more about. So, I would like to know more if in Japanese culture, is it normal for you to follow in your parents' footsteps? For example, if your parents a doctor, does that make you want to be a doctor or an engineer, and so you're going to be an engineer? So I know in the US, I would estimate maybe 10% of people are like that. So I just want to know if it's higher or lower, or like if your dad's a truck driver and he wants you to be a doctor, you're going to go be a doctor. Like what was that percentage of how many people actually do that? So next question, if you had to choose key concepts to choose about the US to teach Japanese students, what would you be? All right. So some key concepts I thought of that might be important. I would say the first one would be yes men. Yes men are people who just say yes to everything and don't really contradict the boss. Like, it's kind of like don't rock the boat kind of feeling. Like, if the boss has an idea but you think if it's a bad idea, if you're a yes man, you will just agree with him even though the idea is awful. So, and everyone claims that they don't want to be a yes man or want yes men working for them. Some people think otherwise. So, like, if you're running a company, some people actually like yes men because that just validates their ideas and makes them feel better, and they just have giant egos. So it depends who you work for. But if anyone says you're a yes man, the answer is supposed to be no. The other concept I thought of was leaving a conversation. So I don't know if this happens in Japan, but it's perfectly acceptable in the US to, if your friends start a conversation that you don't want to be a part of. Like, for example, my friends talk about League of Legends all the time, and I know nothing about League. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go get like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or I'm gonna go watch TV, and leave the conversation. And that's perfectly acceptable in the US. Like, I wonder if that's okay there. Like, you just announce what you're going to do next. It's kind of a weird thing. And it's not declared rude by any means, as long as you don't say it in a weird or awkward way or angrily. Alright, next one is flyover states. Now, the US is pretty big. It's about 3,000 miles across, if you didn't know. So, on the East Coast, we have New York, I guess Myrtle Beach, if you really want to go Myrtle Beach, Washington, D.C., and then south you got Miami, and then pretty much on the West Coast you have San Francisco and Los Angeles, and I think San Diego would be declared a good big city. And pretty much the rest of the whole country is declared flyover states. Now, people who live in the middle don't like this, even though I'm there, and I perfectly accept it. But like, if you're going to be here for a week and travel somewhere, I would say probably New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami. I would say go stick to the edges of the country. if you're gonna be here a long time, then I would say travel in the middle, because there is a lot of stuff to see and appreciate here. But I just feel like the best vacation spots are on the perimeter of the country, and you're gonna get the most out of your adventure or vacation if you go to the outside. So, but there's tons of stuff to actually. Now I take that back, because I feel like there is stuff to see in every state, but I wouldn't make everything a priority. So I would say pick what city or wide range of area you want to go to and then stick to that. But I would stick to the outside. So next question is, what movies would you recommend Japanese students to watch that portray these concepts? Alright. The only movie I could think of would be my favorite movie is Goodfellas, which is directed by, I want to say, is it Spielberg? No, not Spielberg. Martin Scorsese. Great movie, great director. My favorite movie of all time. Now, it's about gangsters in the 1960s and 70s in New York, but that's not really what the concept, that's not really what the culture is about. The culture is more of like, it's about this guy who doesn't take crap from anybody, doesn't take shit, he does what he wants, and he's like his own boss, and he doesn't have to answer to anybody or take any shit. And I feel like that kind of captures the US and how everyone's dream is to be their own boss, not take any shit from anybody, and that you don't have to deal with a boss, because everyone in the US hate their boss. I don't know in Japan if that's true, but I would say about 90% of people in the US really hate their boss. So for some reason or another. So but like Goodfellas, I would say that character or persona is the American dream. It's not necessarily to break laws or kill people or break thumbs. It's just that idea of doing whatever you want.